And the Prime Minister held a press conference this morning after securing a 44 majority on the Rwanda bill vote last night. That's right, he got his vote through, his contested legislation. But after getting the go-ahead to make the bill law, the PM seemed to struggle to answer a very simple question.
Can you 100% guarantee a plane will take off to Rwanda before the general election?
You can look. When's the first flight to Rwanda going to go? Because people are sick of empty promises on this.
Yeah. Look, Jason, what I can tell you is I want to see this happen as soon as practically possible.
To breach international law in order to get those flights off.
Now, I've been crystal clear repeatedly that I won't let a foreign court stop us from getting flights off and getting this deterrent up and running.
There you go, breaking into a small sweat there. Public confidence in the Tories is at its lowest level since Liz Truss was Prime Minister, with YouGov revealing Nigel Farage is the most trusted person to tackle immigration. It's not looking good for Rishi. So tonight I'm asking, as Sunak refuses to be transparent about flights, is the nation being lied to about Rwanda? Let me know your thoughts. Mark at gbnews.com or tweet me at gbnews. And do vote in the poll. But to debate this, I'm delighted to welcome Conservative MP Marco Longy and trade union activist Andy McDonald. Mr. Longy, welcome to the show. Do you think that Rishi Sunak is being dishonest with the British people, that this is theatre we're witnessing in relation to Rwanda?
No, I don't think he is. I think saying that he is lying to the nation is a conspiracy too far. Do I believe that there are issues with the Safety of Rwanda bill as there are? Yes, I do. I was one of the 66 who 3 times tried to improve the bill and make it tighter. That was voted down, and it was very touch and go for me to be the 12th, if you like, MP that voted against. Balance, I decided that wasn't the right thing to do. But through the voting lobbies, I stood in front of the Prime Minister and eyeballed him, and I asked him a very direct question about the passage of the legislation through the House of Lords. Now, actually, it really depends on them how quickly they want to handle it. So when you ask a direct question, when is this legislation going to become effective, and therefore when the next flight is going to take off, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to answer. You could ask an official, they wouldn't know. There will be some time frames, a maximum period of time that perhaps the Lords can debate this, but we would want it to happen a lot sooner. So it's impossible to give an exact date. I want it to be tomorrow if possible.
Before I come to Andy McDonald, let's have a look at some of the comments of your colleagues, Mr. Longy. For example, Robert Jenrick, the former immigration minister, and Suella Braverman, former Home Secretary and, of course, former top lawyer as well. They think that the legislation is not fit for purpose, that it won't work. What does the Prime Minister know that they don't?
Sorry, is that a question for me?
Yeah, that's for you, Mr. Longy. Before I get to Andy McDonald, I want to know why the judgment of Suella Braverman is not significant in this debate.
Oh, of course it's significant. And Suella was one of the people, and Robert was one of the people that I listened very carefully to, including Bill Cash, who I have enormous respect for. And that is the reason why we try to improve the bill and, as I say, make it as watertight as possible. 3 times we tried that with amendments, but we were defeated each time. And obviously that's very regrettable. But my position is now that it's better to have something rather than nothing. This does have a chance of succeeding. You know, the government has received very solid advice that this could succeed. So I would prefer to work with something that could possibly succeed rather than nothing at all. Now, had I voted against, had this been defeated, let me be absolutely clear about this, all that does is maintain the status quo. And we know that the status quo is completely impossible and unacceptable.
Well, Mr. Longy, I really appreciate that. That's a straight answer to a straight question. There you go, Andy McDonald. Mr. Longy is giving this legislation the benefit of the doubt.
The benefit of the doubt, yeah. I'm sure that that's been voted through, it will be successful. But, you know, the legislation itself is completely flawed. You know, we've spent 240 million already, another 50 million going this year for 100 people to go to Rwanda. It's ridiculous. It's £63,000, £63,000 per person more expensive to send them to Rwanda than to home them here. Sure, it will be a success, but it will be a massive failure. The legislation is complete and utter rubbish. It's baffling. It's baffling.
But it's more than anyone on the left is offering as a solution, Andy McDonald.
Well, yes, perhaps, but they're not the ones that have been in government for 14 years. The Conservatives have presided over the immigration system, the migration system. They've seen all of this for 14 years. And, it's taken this long for them to start doing something about it. It's ridiculous. They can't complain about the system. They've been running it for 14 years.
What would Labour do to stop the boats? Because it seems to me that Rishi Sunak is in political hot water because he's trying to do something. Your mate Keir Starmer has said that he'll get rid of Rwanda even if it works.
Well, I think even if it does work, it won't fix a problem. I think Keir Starmer said the other day that he's going to take the money back. Rwanda have offered the money back. He's going to take that money back. He's going to spend it on processing those individuals that would be sent to Rwanda, and he's going to set up a process unit in France to make sure that those who have genuine claims to come across do get that, and then anyone who is coming across won't have a genuine reason. I believe that's Keir Starmer's plan, but unfortunately, my friendship isn't as concise as you might suggest, so I'll have to ask him next time I pop round for tea.
Marco Longy, some powerful arguments there from Andy McDonald. Labour have a better plan.
Well, I'd love to see what that plan is. Every time we ask for it, there is none forthcoming. Let's be very clear about this. Every single time, every step of the way that a bill has been put through Parliament to try and stop illegal immigration, Labour have voted it down. Every single time. It's a number in excess of 80 times now. And we all know that their plan is to have completely open borders. We all know that they want to rejoin the European Union. That would mean that if that would not only would we have under the Schengen Agreement completely open borders for migration, but they would also sign up to the deal with the EU, agreeing to 120,000 asylum seekers every single year. So if they think it's bad now, and let me be absolutely clear with this, the Conservatives have performed very badly over migration and illegal immigration. I'm one of these straight-talking members of Parliament who calls it as it is. But if you think Labour is going to be any better, think again, because it won't. And all of these numbers about how much money is being spent on Rwanda and all the rest of it, we have, through legislation, the situation where we have to spend so much money on foreign aid. Now, you can have an argument about that. I don't agree with it. I think foreign aid should be spent first here at home. But Rwanda would be exactly the sort of country where we would be spending that kind of money. So there's plans to help Rwanda out with their systems, but we're actually getting the double benefit of eventually getting illegal migrants processed there as well.
And on money, very briefly, Andy McDonald, I'll give you the last word. You mentioned the cost of Rwanda. Well, it hasn't kicked off yet. The idea is it's a disincentive. At the moment, accommodating people who have entered the country illegally is £8 million a day. So Rwanda looks cheap by comparison.
Well, perhaps, but I just wanted to pick up on something that Marco said there. He has just lied on air. He said that the Labour Party want to rejoin.
That's very unparliamentary language.
He said that they want to rejoin the European Union. Keir Starmer and members of the cabinet, the shadow cabinet, have clearly said that that is not the case. That is not true. So I think it's just a bit odd that he'd lie about that to your viewers. It's just a lie.
All right. Well, there you go. Look, opinions differ and recollections may vary. Thank you so much to Marco Longy and indeed Andy McDonald for a fascinating debate. What do you think? Is the nation being lied to about Rwanda? Elliot says Rishi is trying something at least, whilst Labour vote against everything. I cannot think of one thing that Labour would improve, definitely not reducing immigration with zero new ideas. Adrian says Sunak himself must know this won't get off the ground. Excuse the pun. Chris says not a single plane will take off to take refugees to Rwanda before the next election. Nailed on, Sunak is all talk. Boris badly needed back as PM. And your verdict is in. 92% agree that the nation is being lied to about Rwanda. 8% disagree.